Hi, I'm Michelle Snell, the Director of Secondary Curriculum and Instruction here in Joshua ISD. If you're watching this video, you're probably interested in our virtual instruction plan for our 6th through 12th grade students. That's our secondary students. Before we get started talking about that plan, I want to welcome you back to the 2020-21 school year. We've missed you so much. Whether you're joining us face-to-face in class or virtually through your computer screen, we're glad you're back. I think you'll notice this year that our virtual instruction plan looks very different than the virtual instruction we rolled out at the end of last year. We've worked really hard all summer to make sure that our students will receive the very best education that Joshua ISD can provide. So let's talk for a few minutes about that virtual instruction plan. Now you'll notice that you can choose this plan when you're doing your online student registration. Take note, if you choose the virtual instruction plan, you will be required to stay in that plan for the grading period. Here in Joshua ISD, that means the first 6 weeks. At the end of the first 6 weeks, you have the opportunity to change to face-to-face instruction if you choose to do so. Now our virtual instruction plan this year is going to be synchronous. That means that you'll be receiving live, real-time instruction from your teachers, and we know that's a very valuable gift. So we'll dive into a little bit more details of synchronous instruction in just a few minutes, but let's talk about the things that you need at home in order to be successful with virtual learning. Make sure that you have a nice, quiet working space because you're going to need time to dedicate to your classes, just like you need time at school, of course. For supplies for virtual instruction, start out with just some basics, paper, pencil, pen, and then if your teachers have very specific supplies that they need for their class, well then they're going to let you know. And of course, you probably want to have something to help keep you organized, because let's face it, we all need help being organized once in a while. So maybe get yourself a large binder that you can put some dividers in and keep your class notes. Find what works for you, but make sure that you structure this as if you were going to school. All right, let's get into the logistics of the virtual instruction plan. So like I mentioned earlier, this is a synchronous plan, meaning that you're receiving real-time live instruction from your teachers. So that means you're going to follow your normal class schedule, well, as if you were in class at school. So let's take a 9th grade student, for example. We're going to call her Sally. Sally has her schedule provided to her by Joshua 9th grade campus. And let's pretend Sally's first period class is English with Mrs. Perry. Well, that class starts at 8:25. So at 8:25, Sally needs to be logged in to Mrs. Perry's online classroom so that she can be accounted for her attendance. Now, speaking of attendance, this is very important. At the secondary level, again, grades 6 through 12, attendance is taken every class period. So yes, you're going to have to log on following your class schedule, just like you were walking to those classrooms for face-to-face instruction. This is very important because the state is still holding you to the 90% attendance rule, and we want to make sure that no one gets in trouble for not being at school. All right, so Sally's logged in, she's in her class with Mrs. Perry for her first period. Mrs. Perry can see that she's in there, she's gonna take attendance, and then guess what? Miss Perry's gonna teach her lesson. Not only are the kids face-to-face in the classroom gonna see it, but Sally and all the other virtual students are going to participate in that exact same lesson. So this is real-time synchronous instruction. This makes sure that our kids are receiving the same great instruction that you're used to getting in Joshua ISD. This also allows for our teachers to keep the same pacing with all of their classes and students. Therefore, keeping kids accountable on the same grading policy. So your student is going to be graded for their online work just like our students in the face-to-face classroom. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, of course, this real-time synchronous instruction allows for our teachers to give valuable feedback to your students and to check for understanding on a regular basis. So for instance, if Miss Perry has finished presenting her lesson and students are now given time to work, well, not only is she checking on those kids that are in her classroom face to face, but she's also checking in with those virtual students like Sally. Sally, what are you struggling with? What can I help you? As we all know, this feedback and direct communication with the teacher is so valuable in real time. So we think that this is a huge improvement for our virtual instruction plan. Not only does this allow our students to get that face-to-face real-time instruction with their classmates, but this could also help our face-to-face students if necessary. For instance, if a student has chosen face-to-face instruction and they have to quarantine due to COVID-19, then this would allow them, if they feel up to it at home, to log in and go ahead and keep up with their coursework and to get their attendance credit. So that way they don't miss a beat. So I hope that this has answered some of your questions about our virtual instruction plan for the secondary level. If you have any more questions or you need any more specifics, then please do not hesitate to contact your student's campus. The counselors and administrators there will be more than glad to help you. Welcome back to Joshua ISD.